Hi, I'm Ryan Glover, and thank you for joining me for Glover Unfiltered. Now, lately we've been talking mainly just specifically about Canadian politics, which has a lot to do with the recent election here in Canada that just happened back in April. But today we're actually going to go to the other side of the border, and we're going to talk about Trump. But more specifically, we're going to talk about the tariffs that Trump has been using and whether he has the power or not to actually apply tariffs to other countries, and if so, what gives him the power to do so. Now, let's look at what the Constitution says. The Constitution says in Section 8 that the Congress has the power to apply tariffs or duties or levies to other countries, but the Constitution itself does not actually give the power to the president for any of these acts. However, over time, the Congress has actually passed several laws to give the president powers in certain situations to apply tariffs without having to go through Congress directly to other countries. Now, the first scenario, which is not in use, and in my opinion, I don't see a way Trump could claim to be using this or how he could get there, is basically the Emergency Act. It's the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which in economic emergencies or other emergencies gives the president powers to tariff or do other things to go above and beyond what Congress could or has time to do. And it's only for times of emergency, which I don't think you can in any way claim that we're an emergency, and there has been no emergency declared. So I think you pretty much have to throw that one out the window. Now, the next way that he has, which is probably part of the reason, especially when it comes to steel and precious metals, minerals, and other things like that, is Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which pretty much involves national security. Anything that can fall under the umbrella of national security, he has the right to use tariffs and whatnot to basically make sure that he's working in the best interest and what is happening is in the best interest of the United States. And the third and most important reason that Trump does have the right to use these tariffs, and the main reason he's been using to apply these tariffs to other countries, is Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, which allows him to apply tariffs to fight back against other countries using unfair trade practices.
I believe strongly in free trade, but it also has to be fair trade. It's been a long time since we had fair trade.
Which is basically what he's been preaching and is clearly the main reason of most of these tariffs, because he believes that the United States is being treated unfair. They're paying a lot more in tariffs compared to other countries. Also the main reason that Trump has started this tariff war basically worldwide.
Prestige worldwide. Why?
Prestige worldwide.
Now, another main concern that a lot of people have, or main question that people have, is can Congress take this power back from the president? Technically, yes, they can. It's a very difficult process. Will they? Probably not, because it's going to be nearly impossible to actually take this power back from the president. They're going to have to go through both chambers to pass a new law or to restrict the law that is currently in place, allowing the president basically free will to use these tariffs as he pleases, as long as it's within the range that they've given, which is unfair trade practices or national security, which involves an extraordinarily big umbrella of all the things that he could actually do. It's very broad. There's no quite precise reasons that he has to have. It just has to fall under the scope of these. But they could technically go through both chambers. They could pass the law, but then they're also going to have to likely come back to bypass the veto of the president, which is a very difficult thing to do.
And I keep saying no, no, no.
No, no, no.
No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no.
In the House, they need to get 290 votes, which is well above a majority. And then when it comes back to the Senate, they need to get 67 out of 100 votes, which is extraordinarily hard to do, especially being currently majority Republicans. It's not a big majority, but it is a majority, and chances are they're not going to be able to get those 67 votes because they're probably not even going to get 50% of the votes. So at this point, basically, their hands are tied, and chances are they're not going to try and take these powers back from the president, especially because if they're not going to, they haven't done it in the past, why would they try and do it now? It's not like Trump is the only president that has used tariffs. Clinton used them, Obama used them, Biden used them. I assume Bush has used them. So it's not like these tariffs are a new thing. The excessive amount of tariffs that are being used is clearly unprecedented, and since basically the United States used to live off tariffs. But yeah, the amount of tariffs being used right now is unlike any other time since then, and it's having definitely major effects, but they're still not likely to do anything or even have the ability to actually do anything. So basically, Trump is well within his scope of power and the scope of the law to use these tariffs. So now the question becomes, is Trump using these tariffs a smart thing, or is it reckless, and is it going to backfire? So are these tariffs going to backfire? Truly, only time will tell. I think this is a very difficult question with a very complex answer, and it's going to take some time for things to unfold before we truly know what the results of these tariffs are and what they're going to be. Personally, I think it's definitely going to do more damage to countries outside of the U.S. They've already gotten a lot of investment into the U.S. because of this.
I am not going to let America and its great companies and workers be taken advantage of us any longer. They have taken advantage of our country. No longer.
But it has also already certainly somewhat affected the American economy, but job growth still continues to skyrocket in the States. Prices are slowly going up, but we'll see how everything settles, and let me know what you think. And as always, stay curious, my friends.